All right, we are going to actually start in child's pose today. So I'm going to have you come onto your knees, placing the big toes together. And you can have knees either close together or far apart on the mat, whatever's comfortable for you. And then just sinking the hips down onto the heels, slowly sliding the hands out long, resting that forehead onto the mat. And here you can choose to keep the arms out long, or if it's too much on the shoulders, just take the hands and arms, bringing them down alongside the legs. Whatever's comfortable to you here. Start to take deep inhales and exhales through the nose. Feeling the breath move in through the body with each inhale. And then feeling it leaving the body with each exhale. Starting to let the day go. Starting to bring ourselves into our rooms. And then finally bring ourselves onto our mats. Taking this time to become acquainted with the breath, to start to focus on it. Maybe feeling what it feels like to actually focus on the breath. Taking deep inhales and exhales, or just breathing naturally, whatever's comfortable. Take these next few minutes to just recognize that breath. We'll take a few more deep inhales and exhales. We'll take one more deep breath in and exhale it all out. On the next inhale, we're going to come up onto our hands and our knees. Taking a second here to line those wrists up right under the shoulders, lining those knees right under the hips. Feet tops are flat on the mat behind us. And as we inhale, we're going to drop our belly down, bringing our gaze up towards the ceiling. Exhale, roll that spine in, tucking the chin to the chest. Inhale, dropping that belly down, gaze going up. Exhale, roll that spine up, tucking that chin. Inhale, dropping that belly down, gaze going up. Exhale, rolling that spine up, tucking that chin. Inhale, drop that belly down. And exhale, roll the spine up. And on the next inhale, coming just to a neutral spine. So we're going to do that same movement, just adding a little bit more to it. So as we inhale, we're going to still drop the belly down, bring the gaze up. As we exhale, start to tuck the tailbone while also dropping the hips over the heels, coming down into that child's pose. And then as we inhale, lifting ourselves back up, dropping that belly down, gaze going up. Exhale, starting to tuck that tailbone, coming down over the heels. Forehead coming to the mat. Inhale, coming up. Dropping that belly down, gaze up. Exhale, start to tuck that tailbone, dropping over those heels. Forehead coming to the mat. Inhale, coming up. Dropping that belly down, gaze going up. Exhale, tucking that tailbone, coming down on the heels. Forehead coming to the mat. Inhale, coming up. Dropping that belly down, gaze going up. Exhale, rolling that spine, coming over those heels, forehead to the mat. And this inhale, we'll come back up just onto all fours. We're going to tuck those toes and start to lift those hips up towards the sky, coming into a down dog. Taking a second here to awaken the back of the legs by pedaling those feet, lifting one heel, dropping the other. Maybe holding one side down before switching to the other leg. Whatever's comfortable here. Take a few more breaths while pedaling those feet out. And then let those legs come into stillness. Taking a breath here. Exhaling it out. And then on the next inhale, walking the feet to the hands. We'll fold over the legs with a bend in our knees. Letting the head hang. Taking a hold of the opposite elbow with each hand. Putting a little bit extra weight on that back, getting a nice stretch. And then slowly rocking side to side. And we'll come back center. Let ourselves hang for just a second. And then release the hands down. We'll circle the head. Shake it yes, maybe shake it no. And then let the head hang. And putting a bend in the knees, taking the hands, placing them up on the thighs, slowly rolling all the way up to standing. Bringing that head up last, rolling those shoulders back and down. We'll inhale, bring the hands up, clasping them together at the top. And then slowly start to shift over to the right side, just getting a nice little bend down that, or stretch down that left side. And inhale, coming straight up, keeping those hands together. As we exhale, tilting over to that left side. Feeling that stretch down that right side body. And inhale, coming back forward. We'll exhale the hands down. Go ahead and bring them behind the back, clasping those hands back behind us. And we'll slowly start to push those hands down, opening that chest, bringing those hands out if we can, or just pushing them down while opening that chest up, bringing the gaze up towards the ceiling. Taking a few breaths here. Bringing ourselves back up and forward, releasing those hands. Give them a little shake, roll those wrists around. And then we'll come to standing at the top of our mats. And inhale the arms up. Exhale, swan diving ourselves forward over our legs. Inhale, half lift, so slide those hands right under those knees. Exhaling, folding back down. Inhale, we're gonna step the feet back to a high plank or down onto the knees. Exhale, coming all the way down. Inhale, just lifting that chest. Exhaling down. Inhale, push back to down dog. We'll take a breath here. On that next inhale, walk those feet up to those hands. Folding over the legs. And inhale, come all the way up. Bringing those arms with us. Exhaling down. Inhale the arms up. Exhale, swan diving forward. Inhale, half lift. Exhale, fold. Inhale, step back to that plank or onto the knees. Exhaling all the way down. Inhale, just lifting that chest. Exhaling down. Inhale, back to down dog. Taking that breath here. And on that next inhale, walk the feet up to the hands. Fold over those legs. And inhale all the way up. Exhaling the arms down. Inhale, arms up. Exhale, full swan diving forward over the legs. Inhale, half lift. Exhale, fold. Inhale, step back to that plank or onto those knees. Exhale all the way onto the mat. Inhale, just lifting that chest. Exhaling down. Inhale, push back to down dog. Taking that breath here. On that next inhale, walk the feet up to the hands. Fold over those legs. And inhale all the way up. Exhaling the arms down. We'll release the hands down by the sides. Close the eyes up here, taking a deep breath. Exhaling it out. Open those eyes back up. We'll move into a chair pose. So we'll kind of toe heel those feet out so they're about hip distance or shoulder distance apart. We're going to start to sink those hips down, like we're going to sit into a chair. So slowly sinking the hips down and swing those arms forward. So all that weight's in those heels. Should be light on those toes. If we could wiggle them, we can wiggle them around. Tucking that tailbone in. And that gaze is going forward. If the hands or arms need to relax, you can always bring them down on the hips. Whatever's comfortable. Take a breath or a few breaths here. Focusing on that breath to help us hold these poses, to help us also move through the sequence. We'll take one more breath. Exhaling out. On the next inhale, we're going to pop ourselves up to standing. And as we exhale, folding over the legs. We're going to take a breath in our fold here. Exhale it out. When we feel ready, we're going to put a bend in the knees, bringing the hands to the mat, stepping back to a high plank or onto the knees. So we're going to stay here for a couple breaths. So we can hold it here. If we want to drop to the knees at any point, we can. We'll take just a couple breaths here. We can have the feet wide. That helps a little bit on the shoulders. Take just a couple more. Take one more breath. And on our exhale, we're going to push ourselves back to a down dog. We need to adjust our stance at all. We can. At any point in our down dogs, we can always pedal the feet out. Take a couple breaths here. Take one more breath. Exhale it out. And on that inhale, walk those feet up to the hands. Fold over the legs. And inhale, come all the way up. Exhale the arms down. All right, we're going to go into a few balance poses throughout our sequence today. So we can release our hands. We'll start with the left foot here. So our left foot's going to be our planted foot. We're going to keep the hands out to the side or wherever's comfortable to find the balance, or if we need to lean against a wall or a counter. We're going to find the spot in front of us that's kind of slightly down, that's not moving, and we'll slowly start to shift those right toes up off the mat. Letting those toe tips come up last, lifting that knee up towards the chest. So we can stay here just to get our balance, or we can shift that foot or that knee out to the side. Take that foot, either place it on the calf, lift it up. You can grab a hold of it, lifting it up towards that inner thigh. Or if the balance is a little off today, you can put it on the ankle with those toes placing right on the mat. Try not to put that foot on that knee. So we want to open those hips here, open those legs up. When we feel steady, we can bring the arms up. And we'll hold our tree pose for just a second here. Using that breath to help us with these balance poses, something to concentrate on. Take one more breath. And exhale the arms down, release that leg. We'll shake that left leg out. And when we feel ready, we're gonna step that right leg back nice and long on the mat. So that back foot is parallel with the mat. And we want that heel, that front heel about in line with the middle of that back foot. So if we need to take a second to adjust the stance and those hips nice and even, when we feel ready, put a bend in that front knee. And then we'll take those arms out parallel with the legs. Gaze going over that front middle finger. And we'll breathe. Trying to keep those hands nice and parallel and even with each other. So if you feel one start to drop, just try to lift it up just a little bit. Feeling very strong in this pose with even weight on both feet. Feeling all four corners of that front foot down on the mat. Sealing that back edge of that back foot down. We'll take a few more breaths here. And on our next inhale, we'll straighten that front knee, keeping those arms out wide. And we'll slowly start to shift that upper body kind of over the front leg. So we're shifting and then tilting down. Bringing that right arm straight up. That left hand can be on the inside of that thigh or calf, on the shin, down on the ankle, up on the thigh. You always have a bend in that front knee if that's comfortable. Trying to keep that back nice and long, so if we feel ourselves start to arch forward, start to come up a little bit or put a bend in that knee. The gaze can be up at the ceiling, down at that front foot, or at the side, whatever's comfortable on that neck. And taking those breaths here. Again, feeling nice and strong in this pose. So that back foot again is sealed down. Feeling all four corners of that front foot down on the mat. Take a few more breaths. And slowly starting to put a bend in that front knee. We'll bring ourselves back up to our warrior two. And we'll release the hands down. We're going to go into a couple more balance poses back to back here. So we'll slowly rotate that back foot so we're up on those toes. So we're in a nice long lunge. We can hop that back foot forward. So in our lunge, we'll get ourselves ready for our balance so we can take the hands, again, placing them wherever is comfortable to help us with that balance. So if we're just kind of have them out, or if we have a wall we want to kind of lean on, we can do that. Finding that spot that's in front of us that's not moving. We're slowly going to come up onto the left leg. So we can kind of hop the back foot forward if that's comfortable, while pushing up, straightening that left leg. Bringing that right leg back behind us, straight out. Toes are pointing down to the floor. We're trying to get a nice straight line from the crown of the head down to that heel. Using that core to help us stay up, using that breath. That foot can just be barely off the mat. You don't have to be all the way up, whatever's comfortable. We'll take one more breath here, and then we're going to move one more time into another balance. So we'll slowly start to bring the hands down to the floor. Keeping that right leg up behind us. So we can stay right here if this is comfortable or our balance is not that great today, which might be the case. We'll take the left hand, placing it down onto the mat, and slowly start to lift the right hand up, maybe just hovering it over the floor, like me today, or we'll slowly start to lift that hand up towards the sky. The foot now of that raised leg is pointing towards the wall, those toes. And we'll hold it for one more breath here. And then slowly exhale it down, dropping that leg down onto the mat, shaking that planted foot down out. And then releasing that foot back down. We'll fold over our legs here. Taking that breath. Actually, let's go ahead. We'll step back to a down dog. We'll take a little rest here. Dropping onto the knees. We'll take those big toes, put them together, sink down onto the heels. Bring that forehead to the mat. Taking a few breaths here. Maybe just sitting in this child's pose, we feel the difference between the legs. And that left leg's a little bit fatigued, maybe a lot fatigued. Taking those breaths, preparing the mind to get ready to do that same sequence on the other side. We'll take a couple more breaths here. On our next inhale, we'll bring ourselves back up to all fours. Tuck those toes and push those hips up towards the sky. Taking a few breaths here. On the next inhale, walk the feet up to the hands. Folding over those legs. And inhale, coming all the way up to standing. Bring those arms with us. Exhaling them down. We'll release the hands down by the sides. We'll take that second here to close our eyes. Take a deep inhale. And exhale it out. Opening those eyes back up. We'll toe heel those feet out till they're about hip distance. They're shoulder distance apart. And slowly start to sink those heels or hips down, just like we're sitting into that chair, and slowly swing those arms out. Again, that weight's all in those heels, light on the toes, tucking those tailbones in. Taking those deep breaths here. Take a couple more deep breaths. And as we inhale, pop ourselves up. Exhale, dropping those arms down. We'll come into our balance on our other side. So our right leg now. So again, those hands can be out wherever's comfortable. So if we need to find a wall or anywhere, or just having them kind of floating out, finding that spot on the floor that's not moving, and slowly starting to roll those left toes up. Bringing that knee up towards the chest. Again, we can stay right here, or we'll slowly start to open that hip out towards the side, taking that foot, placing it on the calf. You can grab a hold of it, place it up on the thigh, which mine slides down, or placing it right on that ankle with the toes kind of touching the mat to kind of help with the balance. Just trying to not be on the knee. When we feel we have our balance, we'll take those hands, bring them up, and take a few breaths here. Again, using that breath to help us through these balance poses and to help us move through the sequence. Take a few more breaths. And exhale those arms down. Release that foot and shake that leg out. We'll come to the top of our mats, stepping that left leg back nice and long, and then bringing that foot parallel, parallel with the back of that mat. Taking that second to adjust those feet so that heel's in line with about the middle of that back foot. Making sure those hips are nice and even. And then putting a bend in that front knee. Taking those arms out to the side. And bringing that gaze over that front middle finger. Again, we should feel very steady in this pose. Feeling the weight evenly distributed between both the feet. Feeling all four corners of that front foot. And then feeling that back edge of that foot sealing down. Trying to keep those arms nice and parallel. And even with each other as well as the legs. And taking those deep breaths. And take one more breath here. And slowly start to straighten that front knee. Keeping those arms out. And we'll slowly start to shift that upper body over that front leg and then tilting ourselves down. Again, that hand can be on the ankle. It can be up on the calf. Or it can be up on the thigh. We can have a bend in the front knee. That gaze can be up towards the ceiling, at that side wall, or down at that foot. Again, if we start to feel ourselves arch forward, we can always come up a little bit or start to put a bend in that front knee. And taking those breaths. Can we feel all four corners of that front foot down on the mat, sealing down the back edge of that back foot. Feeling strong and steady in this pose. And take one more breath. Exhale it out. And slowly start to put a bend in that front knee. Bringing ourselves back up. We'll release those hands down. We're going to go into those other balance poses on this other side. So we'll slowly rotate that back foot. So it's, the toes are up on the mat. We're in that long lunge. Ooh, your balance there. So we'll take the hands again, placing them out towards the side. Or if we have a wall or something we want to study on, we can. And we'll find that spot that's not moving in front of us. And then we can slowly start to kind of hop that, whoa, we can, back foot forward. And then straightening the front leg, bringing ourselves into that balance pose. Now I'll just switch sides here. Sorry, guys. So those back toes are facing down towards the floor. Trying to have that straight line between the heel and the crown of the head. Again, that foot can be just hovering right over the mat. Maybe the toes are just balancing on the mat, whatever's comfortable and wherever you're at today. We'll take a few more breaths here. And slowly start to bring the hands to the floor. So we can put a bend back in the knee if we want to, or try to keep it straight, or if we need to bring that foot down, we can do that. We're going to take the right hand, placing it down on the mat in front of that right foot. Or it's pretty far in front of it, but. And we can bring that left foot back up, taking that left hand, either kind of just hovering it over the mat or over the floor, or slowly starting to lift that left hand up towards the sky. Those toes are facing out towards the side wall. Wherever you're at with your balance on this side is where you're at. A lot of times it's different on each side. Take a few more breaths. And exhale, bring that foot down. And we can lift that right foot up, give it a nice shake. And then dropping that foot back down. And folding over those legs. Letting that head hang. Taking those deep breaths. So from our fold here, we're going to have the feet about hip distance apart. So if we need to kind of lock them out a little bit, we can. If our hands aren't on the mat, we can start to bend the knees, kind of bring the hands down. And we're slowly going to start to bend the knees. So we're coming all the way into a squat down here, dropping those hips over those ankles. So if the Achilles is not very loose, your heels are going to come up, and that's okay. If it's not comfortable, you can take the mat and kind of roll it so it's supporting the back of those heels, or if you have a pillow or anything, you can kind of place them back there. So we're going to do one last little balance here. So again, we're going to find that spot that's not moving and slowly start to bring ourselves up, taking the hands off the floor. And we'll slowly start to bring the hands so they're together right in front of the heart. So we're just squatting down on those feet, on those toes. Again, it's a little bit of a balance challenge here, so we want to focus on the breath. Finding that spot that's not moving. Hold it for just another breath or so. And then we'll slowly start to bring ourselves back down, bringing those hands back onto the mat. And then slowly starting to push the heels back, or the hips back up towards the sky. We'll feel the big blood rush back into those legs. Go ahead and lift one leg or one foot, shake it out. And shake out that other foot. And then fold over the legs. We can keep a bend in the knees if that's comfortable. Or maybe the legs are a little bit looser now that you want to straighten those knees out. Just let the head hang. Then go ahead and take a hold of those elbows again. Kind of putting that little extra weight on that back. And then slowly rock side to side. And we'll come back center. Release the hands. Put a bend in those knees. Take the hands on the thighs, and we want to really slowly roll ourselves up, taking deep breaths, trying to make sure that oxygen is moving up to the head at the same time, because we were spending a lot of time down, so we don't want to get dizzy. Slowly coming up, roll those shoulders down the back, release the hands to the side. Close the eyes. Take a deep inhale. Exhale it out. We'll open the eyes back up. Inhale, bring the arms up towards the sky, gaze going up. Exhale, swan diving forward. Inhale, half lift. Exhale, folding back down. Inhale, step back to a down dog. We'll take a breath here. Exhaling it out. And then slowly come onto the knees. Taking a second here, line those wrists up under those shoulders. Line those knees up under those ankles or under those hips. Feet tops are flat on the floor. And we're going to take the right shoulder and just kind of aim it towards that right hip. Getting a little bit of a bend in that back. And then going over to that left side, bringing that left shoulder to that left hip. And then coming back forward. And slowly having a seat on our mat. We'll take the feet, place them wide on the mat. Take the hands, just placing it behind us. And then letting those feet just slowly drop side, or those knees drop side to side. And then bringing those knees back up. We'll take the feet, placing them, or the legs, placing them down to the mat, bringing ourselves back up. And then we'll take the feet, bringing them together in front of us, sliding the feet towards the hips. Slowly rocking side to side to make sure we're up on those sit bones. We'll take an inhale here at the top. And as we exhale, folding over those legs. Trying to keep as much length in the back as we can. So if we feel like we're starting to round ourselves forward, just coming up a little bit. Letting those knees just slowly go down to the mat at their own pace. Trying not to push them down to get more of a stretch. Deep breaths here. Slowly placing the hands on the mat, giving ourselves a little push up. We'll take the hands, place them under the knees, slowly help those legs come back up. And then we'll slowly start to make our way all the way down onto our mat. We'll take the legs, placing them down onto the mat. And slowly, one leg at a time, we'll start with our right leg, just bending the knee, bringing it into the chest, just giving it a little tiny pull, and then bringing it down. And as we inhale, incorporating the breath, bringing that left leg, bending that knee, just a little tiny pull, exhaling it down. We'll do a few more times on each side. So inhale, bringing that right knee in, exhaling it down. Inhale that left knee in, exhaling it down. One more time on each side. Inhaling that right knee in, exhaling it down. And inhale that left knee in, and exhale it down. We'll take the feet, placing them onto the mat. Kind of do that same type of movement with both knees. So we're going to bring the knees into the chest. And as we exhale, just start to rock them back down. We can take the feet, if it's more comfortable, place them all the way onto the mat. And inhale, bringing both knees in. And exhale, dropping those feet down to the mat. Do a couple more. Inhale, bringing the knees in. Exhaling them down. And one more. Inhale, bring those knees in. And exhale those feet down. We'll take the left leg, placing it down onto the mat. We'll take the right knee, bringing it into the chest. We can take the hands, either placing them out to the side like a T, or wherever's kind of comfortable for you. And take that left hand, place it on the outside of that right knee, and slowly start to help that leg come over the body, crossing over, giving a nice twist in that back. Breathing deep into this lower back twist. And we'll take the left hand, place it on the inside of that right knee this time, and slowly start to help that leg twist back over the body. And place that foot onto the mat. And then slowly place the leg down onto the mat. We'll place the left foot onto the mat this time. Start to bring that knee into the chest. And then take that right hand, placing it on the outside of that left knee. And slowly start to bring that leg over the body. Twisting that knee or that back. Again, sending those deep inhales and exhales into the twist in that lower back. And we'll take that right hand, place it on the inside of that left knee. Slowly starting to help that leg come back over the body. Placing the foot down onto the mat. We'll take the right foot, bringing it up. And just lift the knees straight up towards the sky. So the knees are facing straight up towards that ceiling. And then we'll do just a couple circles, starting with whatever side, drawing those circles on the ceiling, as big or as small as is comfortable. And then switch the direction of those circles. And then we'll slowly bring the knees back center, releasing the feet down to the mat. Take one leg at a time, laying it down onto the mat. We'll do one final big full body stretch. So take those hands up overhead and stretch them all the way up. Stretch those legs all the way down, just like we're getting up in the morning. And then release it all down. Let the legs fall to wherever's comfortable. Take those hands and arms, placing them down alongside the body. Start to close the eyes. Start to refocus on the breath. Feeling the inhales move in and around the body. And feeling it leave the body with each exhale. Allowing each exhale to let us sink lower and lower into our mat. Also with each exhale, feeling any stress or tension that may be in the body or the mind just float away. Trying to clear the mind of any thoughts we might have. Just focusing on that breath. Feeling it move through the nose, down through that throat, into the chest, down each arm and into the fingers, down through the torso, into each leg, and then into each toe. Feeling it move through and out the body the same way. Taking these next few minutes to just be with yourself and with your breath. to bring a little life back into your body by wiggling your fingers and toes, rolling your wrists and ankles, rocking your head from side to side. Begin deepening your inhales and exhales. And slowly take one foot, placing it onto the mat, and then follow it by the other foot. And slowly bring one knee to the chest, followed by the other. Take a hold of the legs, and slowly rock side to side. And when you feel ready, roll onto your right side. With your right side grounded by the earth, leaving your left side open to the sun, the moon, and the stars, and all the gifts the universe has to offer you today. When you feel ready, come up to a comfortable seated position. Take the hands, place them right in front of the heart. Close the eyes one last time. Take a deep inhale. Exhale it out. Thank you for sharing your practice with me this evening. I hope you have a good rest of your night. Namaste. Thank you, everyone.